What is up, Low Voltage Nation? We've got Marco Chaffiotte, CEO of EnterpriseCC. They do structured cabling in Jersey and a whole lot more. We are so excited to have him on the show, so let's get after it. Yeah, we got Marco Chaffiotte of EnterpriseCC on the show today. He reached out to me again on Instagram. He wanted to get on the show. He's in the Jersey area. He's the CEO of EnterpriseCC, and I'm so glad that he reached out because talking to people like the CEOs of the company that have a different perspective and get to see the whole picture, it's actually really interesting. And I'm really glad that he reached out. And I'm going to jump right in and ask him the first question. So Marco, first and foremost, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you taking some time today. And how did you get started in the industry and EnterpriseCC?
Absolutely, thanks. I appreciate it. Glad to be on. So when I was probably about, I'd say 10 or so, I got my first computer. Really got into the tech end at an early age. Simple, very basic PCs with DOS and whatnot, and kind of just grew from there. I was always very tech forward. I would buy gadgets and play with them, see if I could break them and fix them. And as things progressed, right, my family would be like, "Oh, I have a problem with my computer." And this is when computers were like really new and no one knew what to do with them. So it was very cool.
What was your first computer?
It was a Packard Bell.
Was it like a 386? Are you that old?
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry,
not that old, I'm 32, but that's what I got,
Oh, man, I got a few years on you. I'm 36. So anyway, get back to your story. I'm sorry.
Sure. No worries, man. No worries. I like the sidebar.
Yeah.
So, growing up with not like the millennials, I'll say now, because I don't really consider myself that. Right. And growing into the start of really the tech age just kind of really intrigued me. And, I was in high school, like I said, and my father had started his company in 99, and he came from Bell Atlantic. So really, hands-on, just bare wire, rotary phones, candlestick phones, really. And he started with that and really started his business on telephones. And as things progressed, I obviously grew up and I got to probably sophomore, junior year of high school, and he's doing handwritten invoices, him and his business partner. I'm like, guys, there's a better way to do this. And of course I volunteered, right?
Yeah.
So I started doing, Excel-based invoices, and I'm like, this is an interesting thing. So fast forward, 3-4 years in college, I actually went for business administration, and I was like, I don't want to do anything. I want to do the tech stuff and get into really computers and IT and how this really works. So long story short, I'm really a self-taught IT guy. I had servers in my basement. My parents are probably screaming at me, sucking all the juice from the pole, and it's here we are, since then, it's been insane with the way that just everything grows. You go from your old like WinPack stuff from Honeywell, and you transition, and everyone's like, "What do you mean I don't need a computer anymore? I can run this off a cloud." So it's really cool to be able to take the old school stuff with a slight new school upgrade to be really where we are today with cloud and just how everything integrates. It's crazy, and it blows my father's mind because he's such an old school approach, and seeing how you can go from candlestick phones to I don't need anything. You just plug this in and it works.
Yep. That's awesome, man. So I actually just got like really excited. And I didn't know what to expect with this episode because we just met just a few days ago.
Sure, absolutely.
Via the DMs and Instagram, which is awesome. But you told me that you're a network engineer, and then you started talking about how you started breaking stuff as a child, like I did. You got your first computer, a Packard Bell 386, and then you started talking about WinPack and Honeywell. So I don't know if you know much about what we do at Guardian Systems. That's the company that I work for, but we're a Honeywell shop, and I'm still installing. WinPack. I just installed WinPack. I'm no joke. It's about a mile or two down the road from where I live, and I'm like, why are we installing WinPack?
Like, why did they give you this bear of a system to use, right?
Yeah, and they said, hey, you gotta make it work with the mobile app. I'm like, is there even a mobile app for this?
You're like, did they make one?
and they don't. But WinPack actually comes with a web server. It installs IIS and all this stuff, and then you can actually kind of tap into it. If you do some port forwarding and set up a on-prem server, you can do like kind of a mobile app experience. But I was kind of blown away. It's all hosted, man. And it goes down, and like that's like how they let people into their rooms. Like it's a kind of like a hotel situation. So if somebody leaves their key, there's nobody there at the front desk. It's not a 24/7 facility, so they have to like log in and like unlock the doors. Anyway, I'm getting way off. I'm getting way off base. You got me super excited because you said you're a network engineer and you do WinPack, or you know of WinPack. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so tell me.
My Honeywell rep will shoot me, right, if I talk bad about it.
I know. I might get fired after this episode. I'm going to have to do some post-production on it.
We'll see if they can give you some leeway,
Yeah, but yeah, I had Jonathan Laurie. He's the founder of ProWatch. I had him on the show. I don't know if you're familiar with ProWatch, but that's
absolutely.
That's like their step up from WinPack. But I had him on the show, and I actually get on FaceTime with him. And if I'm in a data closet and I don't know what to do, and it's like a Vista panel or a ProWatch or a Mercury panel, he'll help me. So it's actually pretty cool that I have a connection with him.
It's good. Gives you some peace of mind.
It certainly does. Yeah. So tell me more about you and your superpower of network engineering. Tell me all about that.
Sure. So really being able to, go into any place, right, and kind of get an idea of what's going on and being able to attack it full force, really with no one's real help, right? Like that's really how I started this. Like I was saying earlier, I mean, I learned Server 2000, 2008, 12, all the IIS stuff, Exchange, all on my own, self-taught, just with a book. And I was never a big school guy. Like I got bored very easily. I'm like, this is silly, this stuff, Right. Give me something to play with and figure out how to break it and fix it, So it's just, it's cool to really be able to walk into a place and say, all right, what's going on? Oh, well, I have, a printer down. My computer's not working, and I think I can't get to my shared files, or the card access isn't working. It's really nice to have a mindset of what's broken, and I'll come and fix it. And that's really what we try to encompass. And, I consider myself like a tech translator, if you will, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I want this to work with this, but I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, well, relax. Don't get creative about it. Just tell me what you want to do, and we'll make it happen. Right. So it's cool to be able to have that and that mentality. And I don't really know how it came to me, but it's a good thing to have, a good skill set, that's for sure.
Yeah. So EnterpriseCC, what is your bread and butter, and what's your day-to-day look like as a CEO of the company?
Sure. So I'm very hands-on. The biggest thing through the company is we don't really have titles, right? We're a team. I treat the company and everybody in it as family, right? Which is a double-edged sword, because business is business and family and friends are just that. But in using that mindset, we can really be not just friendly overall, but very casual with each other, right? We do have a chain of command, of course, but for example, like you were saying, what is our biggest end of the business really? And it's multi-tenant high-rise. So we're always dealing with contractors and developers and even the owners. I mean, we get some buildings where, you have a customer that owns 10,000 units, and you're right there on site, and they see you, they see your foreman, and they see your crew. And that's a big thing, I feel like, for any company, right? Because if someone says, "Oh, I don't even know who the owner is of that company," that's
Right.
not something that you're going to win more business on, because it's almost like he's on a beach somewhere.
Yeah. 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 I'm actually looking at your website, and all of these are pretty nice luxury condos, and yeah, it looks like a bunch of residential stuff. And then, yeah, like you said, multi-tenant. You guys do a lot of work.
We
Tell
do.
me, tell me, yeah, it's a pretty legit looking website.
Thank you.
So, yeah, what are your what challenges do you face when you're dealing with these bigger projects? 'Cause, I do some stuff, on mostly on the commercial side, and there's a lot of challenges around doing project management, especially like remote locations. But what are some challenges that you're facing?
Sure. So I would say day to day is really in the office, bouncing between job sites and meetings, and really trying to coordinate the guys. Even though my operations team really handles that, and it's a good thing to be able to be on the site and be involved with every daily workload with the team. I mean, that's something that I really strive for, and I'm a very organized person, and so when my calendar says like A, B, C, D, and I now have to do A through Z, it's like, well, why did I even put this on paper? you know,
Yeah.
it's a good thing, but it's at the same time it can be stressful. I mean, what isn't? Being a business owner, whether you got, you want yourself as the employee or you have 100, it's just how you manage it and how you make it work, right? Like, I'm the last line of defense. So if nobody else can do it or wants to do it, I'm the guy that gets stuck with holding the ball, as they say.
Yeah, it's always your fault. You're the last person to blame. So you said you're pretty organized. What productivity tools are you guys using? What's like your back office look like?
So we're pretty much a G Suite environment, right? Gmail, Google Drive. I mean, it's very streamlined and it's easy to use on the go, right? So all our drawings and everything are organized, of course, within G Drive or Google Drive. Sorry, I'm dating myself with G Drive. But that's really the back end, the back of house. We use Zendesk for our tickets and whatnot. So we kind of operate, I would say, like a medium business more than a small business. Again, because like you said, I'm very organized, and then on the on like the project management side, we use a system called Field Lens, which is absolutely awesome. And we work with a bunch of big integrators, guys that just typically provide parts and smarts, and they're like, here, we need you to go install the wiring, terminate test tag, certify, here you go. And what's nice with this software, which is cloud-based, of course, you can really see everything that's done. So we'll take our drawings, we'll tag all our locations, right, numbered, of course, and everything gives you a real nice picture, and we give the client access to that. So if they want to see what's going on a daily basis, they can get an email alert, they can see the photos of it, when it was done, and it's really like a CYA, if you will, right? Cover your tush, we'll say.
Cover your
keep
ass.
it PG.
Yeah, you can cuss. Just don't drop many F-bombs. I don't know.
So it's really nice because you get guys that like sheetrockers, for example, that it's almost like these guys are blindfolded when they put stuff up. And it's like,
oh yeah,
where's our stuff? I know we had all this wiring here. Where did it go? So to have that accountability is awesome. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I've been using it probably 5 years now, and it's just, my guys love it. It's real easy. It's, typically before we go to a job, we'll front load the project so that everything's tagged, and all the guys have to do is, maybe once, twice a week, go and update with the photos. Here's what I did. And if anybody has any questions, they just reply back to the post. It's like a big Facebook for project management. It's awesome.
My goodness. You see, I'm getting more excited again. I'm going to try to contain myself.
Well, I'm glad.
So my title on my business card says project manager and network administrator. So, and these tools that you're using, like G Suite, I'm a G Suite shop, but we use SharePoint at Guardian.
Sure.
So we're a Microsoft shop at Guardian. We have, Windows servers and all that, domain controllers.
Right.
But For me, for low voltage nation, and in the past when I was an IT director, I've been using G Suite for years, for over a decade. Like when
Absolutely.
it first,
Me
like
too.
Google Apps, yeah, Google Apps first came out, when I got a Gmail
When it was
account.
free.
Yeah, I actually got grandfathered in with over 140 accounts because I was a nonprofit, and I still got it for free, but it was very limited. So I'm not sure if they still do that. But this Field Lens product, I am very interested in this because we don't use any project management software at Guardian, and I've been tasked with doing stuff like this, like figuring out the technology to use. So I'm going to pick your brain probably on another occasion about this.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
This looks really interesting. This is actually good stuff. Cool, man. So what, yeah, we talked about your day to day, and then I kind of want to dive deep into a story we talked about during the pregame, Arkansas Insole. Can you tell me more about like what went down on that project?
Absolutely. That was a good one. So we're tri-state based, right? But we do have national customers, and we'll generally go out and forecast it and say, all right, we're going to take a week. Here's how many guys we need. We just go, right? So we had a job. This was back in 2015 for, I won't name the hotel, but a large chain hotel. And they called us and they were like, look, we have this job that was done by an electrician, and we need you guys to come in and terminate, provide all the equipment, certify, test tag, etc. And the provider was actually AT&T. So it was their site that they actually brought us on with. And we get there, it's probably 115 degrees. It was, I believe, July. So it wasn't very cold. And, here we are in this building that's pretty much complete aside from paint. And it's sealed. It's like a sauna. It really reminded me of that. And you walk in the place and you can just, I don't know about you, but I sweat thinking about it. So I'm in with one of my guys, and he's like accustomed to the heat because he's from Georgia. And he just looks at me. He's like, how are you sweating already? I'm like, right. It's hot in here, man. It's brutal. And we're just walking in the door, So we walk in, I go to the MDF, and it's almost like someone took 10,000 feet of wire and threw it. That's really what it looked like. And if you want pictures, I'll be more than happy to send them to you.
You gotta send me. I might have one that's worse, but that sounds pretty bad.
It was something out of a horror movie, man. And like I said, I've been doing this a very long time. Yeah. And being neat and organized, it's like my head was going to explode.
Oh my God.
So you get in there and you're like looking at this stuff and you're like, how are we going to attack this? Because there's just a rat's nest of cabling, and it's all Cat 6A. So it's real heavy duty, as you know, and you got to be careful pulling it out. And so I'm going through it the first day, finally breaking up what's what. He had some different color codes, probably whatever he had, and not calling the guy out by any means because he probably just didn't know.
Right.
And I'm looking at the conduit coming in, and I'm like, this looks like PVC pipe, like plumber's pipe, not Schedule 30, Schedule 40, plumber's pipe.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm like, this can't be. It can't be. And sure enough, it's like 4-inch PVC plumbing pipe. And I'm like, where did this guy go with this? So I'm looking at it further, and he's got probably 2 full rolls of electrical tape wrapped around the end of this conduit into the cabling. Oh, and I'm cutting it back. And I finally get down to it, and I'm looking at it closer, and I go, is that an insole? He had shoe insoles shoved into the end of the pipe. I'm assuming so that the wiring didn't chafe. But it was just like, the guy I'm with looks at me and goes, I hope they're not used. I didn't really get too far into it because I just was like, I got to get this out of here and clean this up. Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, what else did this guy do? I look in the hallway, and he's got single eyelets, for like a chain or something you would use. Like you go to Home Depot and buy closed eyelets to hook like a chain onto or whatever. Yeah. He's passing all the wiring through them.
Oh God.
And they're tight. They're tight, man. They're like banjo status.
Jeez.
So we had, and every single IDF was like that. There was 4 in the building, or MDF and 3, and it was just an absolute disaster. And by the time the end of the day rolled around, I'm soaking wet head to toe. Like it didn't matter what I was doing. I was soaked. But it took, I think we were supposed to be there 3 days, and it took 7 days to get it done.
Yeah.
And we were working 14-hour days, man. It was just
man, that's brutal.
nuts. But I'll definitely have to share the pictures with you, because it came out pretty good. Not the best, but pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a marked improvement. Yeah, I'm scrolling through your Instagram right now because, based on, what I'm seeing here and what you're telling me, you care about, organization. Your trucks, and vans, they look like clean cut, squared away. Like this is the kind of stuff that I like to see from a company, and especially when it gets down to like the stuff that people don't typically see, the day to day. But if you take some time to do some cable management, it goes a long way, and it just kind of speaks really highly of what you're trying to accomplish.
Thank you. That's what I instill. I mean, we've gone through a couple different batches of crews, if you will, and just like maybe the last 6 months, we got some real green guys, like, just conversation with people and seeing, hey, do you know anybody that's looking for work, who's technical? And what's nice is you get these young guys, like early 20s, mid 20s, that are good personalities, want to learn and are very eager. It's just, that's what you need. That's really what you need. I mean, we have, 3 or 4 real good guys who've been in the industry 30, 40 years, and they can teach, and these guys are just absorbing it, which is real rare to find. And it's just been absolutely awesome to see. Nothing better than the guys coming in the shop at the end of the day with a smile on their face, like, I can't wait to work tomorrow. You don't see that anymore, which is really cool.
It's interesting. We get some young guys, and the last batch of young guys, like, they don't show up. I think one guy, his 90-day review came up and he had already missed 22 days. Some of them were like no call, no show. It's like, I don't understand what's going on. If we're just, barking down up the wrong tree or something. But how do you guys find talent? Like, what online resources, or how are you getting good people like that?
It's hard. A lot of it's, I mean, lately been word of mouth. I got, my son's friend is very technical, and they don't all work out. Or you get guys that are like, hey, I've been in construction for 15 years. I want to do something different. I'm very hands-on. It seems like the hardest thing is getting people that are eager to learn, that show up, right? That's probably 50% of it. And they want to be here. Like you're saying, I don't think in my life, I don't think I've ever missed a day of work, regardless whether it was the other 3 companies I worked for, doing something different, or here. I mean, it's hard to find people that have like the decency to say, hey, I'm not going to be in today. That's all it takes, right? You mark them down, but at least they get brownie points for calling in and saying, I don't feel good, or I just don't feel like coming in today. And you take it from there. Yeah. I'd rather know you're okay than lying on the street somewhere and not knowing what the heck's going on.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, I'm on vacation right now. I haven't taken a vacation in about a year and a few days, and it gets real stressful. But just to raise your hand and say, hey, I need some help. It's really cool that you recognize that people need a break. And
absolutely, we're all human, right?
I know, yeah. It's my own fault for not taking a break sooner, but there have been a couple days I'm just like, I think I called out twice. I said, hey, I'm not coming in. I got some personal stuff to take care of, and that's all it really takes. You need a couple of days off here and there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Mental health day, right?
Oh yeah, it's very very important. That's the thing. I mean, so that's a itch that I'm trying to scratch here. Like, what are you doing to keep your employees happy, health and wellness and all that?
Well, we really try to. I don't like to generally overwork the guys, right? Of course, everyone wants their 40 hours, and you really try to keep the morale going. And as I would say, it's probably a little easier to keep the guys happy or uplifted during the summer because it's generally warmer out and the sun stays out longer.
Right.
But on a company level, we just try to again be easygoing about it, right? No one's saving babies is the term that I always use. It's work. If something happens, you tell us and we push forward. We push through it. We'll make it up on the schedule. Going forward, like this coming year, I'd like to do more like team building skills and really get everybody involved on like a off time basis. But you have to be careful with that because you don't want to encroach on their personal time either. And then they feel like, oh, I got to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's tough. We actually did a hiking trip. It was actually really fun. My boss organized it, and I helped do some video, kind of do like a promo video of us, hiking 16 miles. And that was cool. But again, you got to be careful about, can other people actually participate because maybe they're not physically active, or it's taking up their personal time. So, and they feel obligated. So it's kind of tough, but there's some cool things you can kind of do to boost morale, I'm sure.
Yeah. Simple things, like, hey, let's take an hour or two out of the day, or we'll go get like a team lunch cut out early. Yeah. Again, we'll adjust the schedule, right? I mean, we're not under the gun with a lot of stuff. I mean, of course the GCs are, and everything needs to get done right away, but that's another story.
There's that. For sure. Yeah. So the micro, middle, macro, what do you have going on for the next 5 days, 5 months, and 5 years?
I would say 5 days, just really trying to get out in the field more, right? Like I'd say 3-4 days, I've really been stuck in the office and I want to get out there, right? I like to see the guys. I like to see their morale and really just be out there so that everybody can see that I'm very involved. Whether it's the owners, the GCs, the developers, or even my own guys. I don't typically go out and just be like, wave to, the owner of the building. I just go out and I want to see the guys. I want to know if they need any help with anything, or they'll bounce ideas off of me and say, hey, I was thinking of doing it this way. And that's cool to be able to have that relationship and no one really, afraid to just talk to me. I mean, I'm not the oldest guy and I'm not the youngest guy, but at the same time, it's nice to have that. Hey, I understand it's my boss, and some of the guys are in their 50s, and you have a respect level for it. So it's good to be out there bouncing around.
Right. Yep. Totally agree. Who runs the Instagram account for your company?
Mostly myself.
Yeah, that's what I kind of assumed. I was hoping you would say that because that was one of my strategies at Guardian is to go around because it looks like you're going on site. You're taking pictures of your guys, some of the work, and just getting out of the office and kind of doing a health check, a status check in with the customer, check in with your field techs, and showcase some of your work. And it's a great way to like stay your finger on the pulse with the project, do some project management stuff, and then customer relations, and then check in with your employees. So I think it's a great way to do that.
Definitely. And you really get your, you get the vibe out, right? You want to show what you guys are doing. Not everyone knows what low voltage is or, what cameras are, or this and that. And I've had people all over the place. They're like, I see your trucks all over, or I've seen you on Instagram, or I mean, cool. That's crazy to think that this is the marketing that we're using now, right? Pictures.
It is. The low voltage community on Instagram is very strong. I would have never thought that this would be where I'd spend 3 to 4 hours of my day, but I check my analytics. I'm not joking. I check my analytics on Instagram, and it's 3 to 4 hours a day.
It's a job. It really is.
Yeah,
it really is. But nobody does it better than you.
Just that. Cool, man. So yeah. So what do you have in the future? The 5 months and 5 years.
So next couple months, we have a couple large projects we're working on, or proposals. I'd say like 3 to 4. Hopefully we can close on at least half of that. We can't win them all, but definitely working to win what we can and work with whoever we can to get them acquired or won. And then next 5 years, hoping to expand, looking to purchase another property in the tri-state and just increase that presence. and really do that steady growth, right? Because you don't want to expand too quickly, and then you're saying, holy shit, what do I do? I'm stuck now,
Yeah.
So you don't want to explode. It's like overeating.
Yeah. So the tri-state in Jersey area. What exactly is the tri-state? I'll have to look that up.
So for us, it's New York and the boroughs, all 5 boroughs, New Jersey, PA, and Connecticut. That's we call it like the greater tri-state. I don't like to restrict myself. We'll go anywhere. I mean, we're in Florida, California, Washington State. I mean, if the project's right and the customer is someone who we've been dealing with and they have a great track record, there's no sense in not doing it for them, and trying to keep it on budget for them.
Yep. So we talked about low voltage being a niche market, and that was one of your challenges, helping people understand that. So tell me, like, what you mean by that, and if there's a solution to educating the consumer and the customer.
Sure. So it really, just being in this industry, it seems like a lot of people don't understand it, right? They think it's just throw some wires in the wall and we'll cover it and you'll figure it out.
Right.
But in our industry and really on the multi-tenant side, there's nothing worse than a condo owner or a new tenant in a building saying, my TV doesn't work or I can't get internet.
Right.
That is probably the worst thing we can ever get a call from the GC saying, hey, what'd you guys do? So being able to really educate people and try to tell them, like, hey, this is important. This is the lifeblood of your building.
Yes.
Security, access control, your cameras, everything, right? I mean, if you don't have, I don't care how advanced we are right now, if you don't have wiring in the building, you're not going to be protected. And that's a big, big thing for a lot of people, especially in this area. Like, for example, we're based out of Jersey City, so Hudson County, across from, Manhattan. And a lot of people are now moving to this side of the pond, as I like to say.
Yep.
And it's really like a mini Manhattan between Hoboken and Jersey City. And these places are not cheap by any means. So if stuff does not work and these people don't feel safe, it's not going to work out for the developer. And then they get a bad stigma and they're like, well, I'm not going with these guys, with this company. They didn't do anything to help us on the last building.
Right. Wow.
So I try to really, with the developers and everything, I try to really educate them. And it's right in our name, right? We're consultants. And a lot of people don't typically see that as like, oh, well, they're just, they're a security vendor. They're low voltage guys. They don't know what's going on. And we've had instances where we've been in job meetings and, you get an electrician saying, I'm going to daisy chain all that wire. And we're like, our hearts dropped. And we're like, what do you mean you're going to daisy chain it? What are you daisy chaining? You can't do that. And the owners are like, oh my God, he was going to do what? So it's little things that really, you have to educate people on. I mean, even fire alarm stuff. Everyone thinks it's like, it's easy. You can daisy chain that too. But if it's not done right, or there's wire ties on it and it's too tight, all it takes is a wire tie too snug and you can kill that whole line.
Right.
It's like anything else. Wire ties are a no-no on low voltage.
Right. Velcro is where it's at.
That's it. Nice and snug. Just a little bit.
Cool. Yep. So your everyday carry, you mentioned that the iPhone, you can do everything from your iPhone. And I have to, I use an Android device, but I have to agree that I can do pretty much anything from my phone. Tell me about that.
Bummer, man. Green text messages. That's terrible. I can't talk to people like you.
I have an iPad. If we need to do a FaceTime, I have an iPad.
Only kidding. It's so true though. I mean, you have the power of everything in your pocket, and the iPhone. I hate to say it because it sounds so millennial, right? I'm trying to stay away from that term because I'm very old school mentality with that, and it's just I can manage everything. Our hosted PBXs. I got all of our cloud systems for any client. I can reboot on the go. I mean, it's everything. And you know, I've been on vacation, right? So like you were saying earlier, you take vacation, you've probably the first one you've taken all year. I generally don't tell people on vacation because I can't disconnect, and it's terrible. But again, you know, you're the last line of defense. So if one of my guys in the office calls and says, "Hey, we got so and so server down," I'm like, "All right, well, go power it up, and I'll check it from there." Because that's what you got to
do. you signed up for it, being the CEO.
That's it.
That's funny, man. I'm on your website right now, and that little "Let's Chat" thing keeps popping up. I keep like getting distracted by it. Like somebody wants to, you know what I'm talking about, right? It says like "Let's Chat."
I do.
Okay,
absolutely.
I'm just kind of cruising around. It keeps on beeping and popping up. I'm like, what is going on?
It's good though. It's getting your attention.
It is, but it's distracting me. I'm trying to have an interview.
Yes, absolutely. And I have to tell you, we've gotten a lot of work from that thing, man. I have to be honest with you.
Really? That's kind of what I was wondering, if it's effective.
Yeah, big time. And of course, it goes to generally me. And no matter what time it is, you know, if I'm up at 12 o'clock, I'm going to start talking to somebody.
on your iPhone. That's funny. So what do you got? Where are you guys getting leads from? Is it referral based? Are you doing like a lot of inbound marketing? Where are those coming from?
A lot of it is really word of mouth and social media. I mean, people see the trucks everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think they really pop, you know, with the green and the black, and and I instill it in all my guys. Keep them clean. You know, I'll pay for it. Just keep them clean because they look so sharp. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the color combo, but people see it and they remember it. And we get phone calls a lot, not just from bad drivers, but no, just kidding. But from people saying, "Hey, I saw your truck in Manhattan," or "I saw your truck on, you know, the highway going out west." Like that's big, and having really the ease of getting, like we're saying, an Instagram, right? Hop right on Instagram. All the names match. Instagram, Facebook, you know, LinkedIn, Twitter. They're
so important.
So important. Because you get other companies and they're like, all right, Acme Inc., Acme Fire, and you're like, which one do I follow? Because they're three different names.
I was so mad that I couldn't get Low Voltage Nation on Twitter. It's too long. So I got LVN.
Really?
LVN 615. I'm not a fan of that at all. So I got to figure something out.
The numbers kind of throw me. I hate to be honest with you about it.
I'm not super active on Twitter. I got somebody else managing that, but whatever.
Yeah, I feel Twitter, I think, is might be one of those dying off things, you know?
Yeah, so here's my strategy around that is I just do automated posts. I do stuff local for Nashville, just pictures I take of construction sites and tag various, you know, low voltage companies, project managers, whoever's involved. So I just do that, kind of get some awareness, and then I also sent over a hashtag list that I use for Instagram to somebody, and they follow people based on that hashtag list and kind of interact with them. And then the next strategy is, and I haven't deployed this yet, but get in front of news organizations that, you know, that are talking about, like any local news organization, and start getting in the conversation about all the new development. And then you eventually become that expert in that area. So they'll go to you for like a news report, like to get on TV, or, you know, to do a little article. So it's a pretty cool way to kind of hack the Twitter ecosystem, because that's where news organizations are really heavily active on there. So that's one weird strategy.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's a good plan of attack.
Yeah, just doing it. You got to spend about 2 or 3 hours a day doing it. So I don't have that time. I'm trying to find a
Very
picture.
true.
I'm trying to find a picture of one of the insides of your truck. You said they're really clean, and I want to see it. Do you have one?
Probably down a ways.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
There's
I just saw it too.
I'm getting way off base here, but like all the stuff you're telling me, like keeping stuff clean and the colors popping on the trucks. I mean, I'm just like drooling over your stuff right now.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you. We try very hard.
Yeah. This is actually pretty cool.
If you go like maybe 3/4 of the way down. It's like 120 weeks ago, but there is
I gotcha.
a shot of the inside of one of the ProMasters, and we have a rack in there with a pipe bender and whatnot on there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so all you listeners, you guys got to follow this account. It's at EnterpriseCC, and they got some really cool stuff going on. They care about their employees. They care about their trucks, the work they do. They're doing a lot of business in Jersey, expanding and growing. And I think that's all for the questions today, I believe. Oh, no. Yeah, the everyday carry. We got that done. Cool. So I guess I kind of already said where we can find you on the internet, but is there anything else that you wanted to plug or tell the audience about your company?
Like we were saying, we're on all social media, right? You got your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, and Instagram, and the website. I mean, that's really where we push all our info. We try to keep everything updated, in sync, but doesn't always happen. So Instagram is generally the most up to date, and it's like a portfolio. It really is.
Yes, it certainly is. Yeah,
it's real shots, and maybe slight iPhone edits, right? That's about it.
Yeah, no, it looks legit. You guys are doing it right. This is actually really cool, and I hope that this is beneficial to other people in terms of seeing what you guys are doing on the internet. Get the marketing down, get the polished look, care about all that stuff. And I think there's some really good pieces of information. And for me, that project management tool, Field Lens, that's going to be huge for me, I think. I'm going to do a demo of it. And I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, man, Marco, this has been great, man. I really appreciate you coming on. And we'll be in touch soon. I'll be following your stuff on Instagram and kind of going back and forth. But I really appreciate you getting on.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the having me on board, and again, reach out. I'll get you those pictures, and thanks again, Blake. We'll keep in touch, man.
Take care, Marco.
Have a good one.
Bye.